Balloon Fiesta started in 1972 in Coronado Mall's parking lot with 13 balloons.
We're celebrating New Mexico and the state's biggest gathering.
It's awesome. It's awesome. It was on my husband's bucket list.
Hundreds of thousands of people filling Balloon Fiesta Park for an entire week.
I think this is the Super Bowl of hot air balloons.
Experiencing the sounds, colors, and excitement of the world's premier ballooning event.
All the different shapes. The girls really love the different characters.
Creating a magical feeling unique to the Land of Enchantment.
The Balloon Fiesta is a part of our DNA.
For the next hour, we're taking you on a ride.
Looking into the history of Balloon Fiesta and some of the special surprises in store for the monumental 50th Fiesta.
A milestone not only for Fiesta, but for our entire state to celebrate.
Months of work go into making sure Balloon Fiesta's opening day goes off without a hitch. At Balloon Fiesta Park, tents are set up for vendors. The grounds are being prepped for crowds, and balloon pilots receive last-minute training tips.
50 years for Fiesta, quite a milestone as the excitement builds for hundreds of thousands of people to fill Balloon Fiesta Park once more.
There is something about celebrating historical milestones and historical landmarks that people feel celebratory and want to be a part of it.
And who wouldn't want to be a part of it? From early mornings with breakfast burritos to mass ascension with balloons taking to the skies above the Duke City.
An amazing view of what Balloon Fiesta is all about from Sky 7. Hundreds of balloons up above, and of course plenty of special shapes to look out for with people from all over the world.
We're originally from the Philippines, Northern California,
From the UK,
From Columbia, Missouri. I'm from Puerto Rico.
Florida.
Fort Collins, Colorado.
A lot of miles traveled by many to Albuquerque for the Balloon Fiesta.
About 20 hours to get here in total, just moving around the UK and then flying and then moving here.
The first time inspires many to hurry back to Albuquerque
It's really amazing. It's to see every single balloon.
to see the incredible sight that is Balloon Fiesta one more time. And Balloon Fiesta, it's not just a morning thing.
No, it isn't. If you plan it right, you can enjoy all things Balloon Fiesta from sunrise to sunset. Take a look. Before the sun rises, it's busy as everyone arrives for the show. Parking is usually a slow-going process. Some walk in, others ride their bikes. And once they get through the gates, people grab hot coffee, breakfast burritos, and donuts. Then Dawn Patrol heads up first to make sure the conditions are just right. It's a beautiful sight. These are the most experienced pilots. Their expertise is vital, because they will decide if it's safe for hundreds of pilots to launch. If it's a go, the pilots pull their baskets from their truck, lay out their balloon or envelope, and start up those burners. The sound fills the field, building excitement for onlookers. They know a mass ascension is going to happen. As the sun starts to arrive, hundreds of pilots fill the New Mexico sky, or take a quick dip called a splash and dash in the Rio Grande. They only stay airborne for a couple of hours, but the sight is spectacular. As they gently drift back to the ground, chase crews help control their landing. But the fun for spectators isn't over. Great food in town and even some shopping awaits them. Then maybe after a nap, they'll head back to Balloon Fiesta Park for the Glodio. This time, the pilots won't launch into the air, but they'll inflate once the sun sets, and the glow is gorgeous. Here's an aerial look at the event, the burners going on and off as everyone marvels at the sight. For Balloon Fiesta superfans, they'll eventually go home, only to do it again the next day.
A couple fun facts about Balloon Fiesta. Not only is the 9-day party the largest ballooning event on the planet, it's also the most photographed event on Earth. Event organizers say an estimated 25 million pictures are taken during the week. We'll share some of your best photos over Balloon Fiesta's 50 years throughout this special. 50 years of Balloon Fiesta doesn't even come close to covering the history in Albuquerque.
In fact, neither will 100 years. You have to go all the way back to 1882.
140 years ago, downtown Albuquerque, this was Park Van Tassel's coal gas-powered balloon. Yes, coal.
Took forever to fill up, about 2 days.
Van Tassel was a local bar owner hired to fly high, very high, more than a century ago at the Territorial Fair.
He had a very short flight, by the way. He went up to about 9,000 feet and came back down.
Dick Brown is a balloon historian who helped write a book about the first flight here. Then 2 other pilots launched in 1909 to try and set a distance record. It wasn't enough, but it sure lit the fire for future flights here.
They lifted off and flew east and crossed the Manzano Mountains and out onto the plains near Klein's Corners and made a 90-mile flight.
After the 1882 and 1909 launches, both of them from right here in downtown Albuquerque, pretty much nothing happened for more than half a century, in part because of World War I, the Great Depression, World War II, the Korean conflict, and the assassination of President Kennedy. But during that time, balloon technology advancements.
What revolutionized ballooning was having an airborne heater, propane heater, lightweight nylon envelope, the bag, having propane tanks in the baskets.
Which is where we are today, 140 years later, a kaleidoscope of color seen every year, lighting up the Albuquerque sky for the world to see.
By the way, Park Van Tassel's balloon from 1882 cost him $850. That's about $25,000 today.
And did you know the first balloon fiesta was held in a mall parking lot?
It was organized in about a week as the Coyote Roadrunner balloon race.
Stephanie Muniz tells us about the inaugural event.
50 years ago, the parking lot here at Coronado Mall was the very first location of the Balloon Fiesta, and it was planned in just 10 days. Initially, there were only 19 balloons registered, but not everyone showed up. So only 13 balloons participated as a crowd of about 20,000 watched. Because of its success, it moved to the fairgrounds the next 2 Februaries. Competitors from 38 countries met for the World Hot Air Balloon Championships, and the event grew to about 128 balloons. But Fiesta would continue to grow even more. Coming up, I'll tell you the challenges organizers face as they continue to try and find a new location for the Balloon Fiesta.
Coming up, he's called the father of the Fiesta, how Sid Cutter's legacy lives on.
The mountains in the valley of the Duke City actually have a pretty big impact on how the pilots fly, while our landscape makes conditions perfect for ballooning.
The special shapes often end up the star of the show. We're giving you a first look at the brand new designs you'll see this year.
We're sharing your 50 years of memories.
Welcome back. Getting ready for Balloon Fiesta's 50th celebration started a year ago.
A special envelope to honor the milestone was built right here in Albuquerque. A team from Ann Arbor, Michigan was able to get it finished in only 9 days last year. It was quite the surprise for the wife of Sid Cutter, known as the father of hot air ballooning in Albuquerque and the founder of the Balloon Fiesta.
My heart's pounding. I'm shaking. My knees are shaking. I didn't expect it. I had no hint. Pure joy, pure joy. And that's what this whole fiesta is about.
A lot of thought and consideration went into the final design.
We really feel like we settled on the best design, and then to see it come to fruition, wow, it was pretty spectacular. And then also to see the silhouette of Sid Cutter in the top, whew, big time.
The little balloons on the envelope represent the original 13 balloons that lifted off at the very first fiesta way back in 1972.
Sid Cutter's introduction to ballooning was a little bit of an accident.
Yeah, while giving tethered rides at an event to celebrate his mother, the rope was untied and he took to the skies.
Yeah, it was love at first flight. 1 year later, creating what would become the largest ballooning event in the world.
Yeah, Cutter knew its potential, but his motivation was much more simple: to make people happy.
The father of Balloon Fiesta is Sid Cutter. His legacy and image, displayed in a bronze statue at Fiesta Park, shows Cutter on the edge of a basket with his dogs tagging along for the flight. We spoke with his grandson in 2015 when the statue was revealed.
When the mayor of Albuquerque approached us with this idea of a statue, we were just awestruck. I mean, it was just something that was so awesome that we couldn't even ever think of could happen.
Cutter launched Fiesta in 1972. 13 balloons lifted off from the Coronado Center. We talked with Cutter in 1981, and he knew this was growing into something special.
I think you'll find that it's going to turn out to be the world's largest air show with old-time wing walkers, and the thing will go on up through into the afternoon instead of just quitting right after the balloons finish.
In 2011, after Cutter's death, we met people from Minnesota who were at that first fiesta and saw it grow through the years.
It was great fun. It was a great group of people. We all had just so much fun with each other out here, and Albuquerque was so wonderful in hosting this.
Albuquerque has turned into, with what Sid Cutter, rest in peace, what Sid Cutter did was phenomenal, and he made the sport.
Cutter was described as a gracious man who loved ballooning and the tight-knit community that pilots the floating aircraft.
He learned how to fly sitting on his daddy's lap.
Cutter's wife, Jewel, describing her late husband's life and how he turned Albuquerque into the hot air balloon capital of the world.
He was sort of a pace setter.
It's grown into this incredible, magical, and massive occasion. Not easy to get here.
One time I said, Sid, this is kind of hard work. And he said, but look how many people we're making happy. That's what Fiesta meant to him, was the happiness it brought to life and to people and to the city.
What a legacy. Thank you, Sid Cutter.
In 1983, Sid Cutter was inducted into the Balloon Fiesta Hall of Fame and has since been inducted to others.
That's right. He also holds several ballooning titles. And check this out. In 2002, the Olympic torch made its way to Albuquerque. Cutter had the honor of carrying it from the World Balloon as part of the torch relay as it traveled to Salt Lake City. Earlier, we told you a little bit about the Dawn Patrol and their important role, checking conditions and making sure it's safe to fly.
Yeah, now it's time to dig a little deeper into its history. Dawn Patrol has been gracing the skies above since 1978. 2 California balloonists created lighting systems allowing them to fly at night.
The name giving insight to when launch happens just before dawn. In the skies, those pilots are gauging air density and the wind. Then they radio down to the other balloonists on the ground to give them an idea of what to expect before takeoff.
We paint the sky with Cutter like paper lanterns floating in the night sky. It's just like a three-dimensional glow. It is amazing to watch people's faces literally light up.
One reason that pilot says he loves Balloon Fiesta.
It is a collection in Albuquerque during Fiesta of everybody that's got a common goal to have safe flying, fun flying.
If you want to see Dawn Patrol light up the night sky, get there very early. Their launch usually begins around 6 each morning. Balloon Fiesta is not only a chance to show off the beauty of our city, but the landscape plays a role in the way these balloons fly.
Yeah, the mountains and the valleys have a special effect on our winds. Meteorologist Byron Morton explains the Albuquerque box.
The Albuquerque box is a unique weather phenomenon that can be credited to the specific topography of the Albuquerque Valley. That's because the Albuquerque Valley is sloped, with the north end of the valley at about 100 feet higher than the south end of the valley. So on calm, clear nights, as the ground cools the air near the ground, that cool air tends to flow southward down slope, creating what we call a northerly drainage wind. As a balloonist lifts off from Balloon Fiesta Park, it catches that northerly drainage wind and flows in a southward direction. As the balloonist fires up their burner and lifts higher up in altitude, due to changing weather patterns, it can catch a southerly wind, pushing the balloon back to the north. And then once again, the balloonist can let off the burner and sometimes settle to the exact location the balloon lifted off from, creating a virtual box in the sky. That's the Albuquerque box.
And perfect box conditions will add to the new experience this year at Fiesta.
We are talking about the brand new Sky Boxes.
They are shipping containers transformed and sprinkled with a little luxury. They even have an upper deck to get one of the best views of Balloon Fiesta Park. And if you're wondering about the price, $5,000.
A spokesperson for the Fiesta says it's certainly geared toward a unique crowd.
There are people who want to be able to provide a VIP turnkey experience. They don't want to have to worry about finding caterers, because we already have the caterers selected.
There are only 2 boxes on the north side of the field. They hold up to 20 people and come equipped with private bathrooms. A bar and breakfast is included. Plus, you can get out and onto the ground in a private roped-off area for an up-close view of the balloons.
Organizers have worked to be innovative since the early days of Balloon Fiesta.
Steffi Muniz shows us as the popularity of the event grew, they needed a new launch site, which caused the event to move.
Hey guys, by 1975, the Balloon Fiesta got so big it had to be moved here. This is Balloon Park Road near Century 24 Movie Theater, and at the time, this place was called Sims Field. During the time that the Balloon Fiesta was here, it was home to more than 370 hot air balloons. It was named Sims Field after the family that owned the land. Another big change, the event was moved from February to October. This was after a meteorology study found that the weather in October was more balloon friendly. In 1979, KOAT broadcast live for the first time here, bringing the Balloon Fiesta to thousands of New Mexicans from the comfort of their home. Since then, reporters that have passed through KOAT have been telling the stories of people coming to enjoy the annual event.
I used to cut class from Highland High School when I was watching the balloons fly, and that got me addicted.
The Fiesta was held here until 1980, but as more events were added, so was the need for more space. I'll tell you more coming up.
I just do it because I enjoy it, and if they enjoy it, even more better.
Pin collecting is big business at the Balloon Fiesta. One local collector shows off his stash coming up.
Some familiar characters from the past helping honor Fiesta's 50th year. Hear from the artist and what inspired him to do it.
And a blast from the past. We're taking you back to 1981, explaining why those characters are so closely connected to Balloon Fiesta.
And we are celebrating your memories as we celebrate 50 years of Fiesta.
Fiesta is it's the big daddy of them all. It is one of the best. It's a premier hot air balloon event in the world. There's nothing like being in the air with 500 other balloons.
There is nothing like Balloon Fiesta, and nothing like those souvenirs.
That's right. Let's take a stroll down Vendor Row. You can get so many things there: clothing, toys, cups, and books. The vendors say they see the same faces each October.
We have customers that come yearly, and I look forward to seeing them every year. It's like having a little reunion every time you come out to Fiesta. I love it.
One of the hottest items on Vendor Row, balloon pins. From special shapes to the official event pin, this flair often sells out before the end of Fiesta. There are even trading events filled with people hoping to build their collection.
Brianna Albizu spoke with one collector who says the nostalgia has kept him pretty busy.
Pin collecting is a big deal at Balloon Fiesta, and this year is no different. Some of the 50th anniversary pins already sold out here at the gift shop. Now, we spoke to one man about his passion and how he's already inspiring future generations.
A collection unlike any other, starting with a love for hot air balloons.
It helps me connect to the balloons.
That's at least the case for Freddie Martinez, who grew up watching them fly high in the New Mexico sky. He even became an honorary crew member with his dad when he was only 5 years old.
We helped them land. I remember being drug a little ways because there's a little bit of a breeze that day, so they did need the help.
That led him to getting this Foxfire balloon pin, and the obsession only grew.
So, how many are we talking? I counted 20 boards that we're surrounded by.
We're surrounded, right now we're surrounded by 20 boards. There's probably 8,000, I would say.
From Lily and Joey B's to Arabelle, even Yoda and Darth Vader, you name it, he's got it. All organized and all by memory.
A lot of these pins come from trading with other pin traders, pilots, people that enjoy pins.
And despite what it may seem, some were harder to find than others.
It's the Orville Redenbacher balloon.
Oh, okay, yeah. It's
popcorn balloon.
Cool.
That one took me forever.
How long did it take you to find that one?
About 10 years.
The passion, now a family affair. Freddie's son Justice has a collection of his own. A fascination that simply has no limit.
There's also a commemorative book honoring this major Balloon Fiesta milestone.
Yeah, the book features 300 photos from Fiesta since its inaugural year, 1972.
The book focuses a lot on the history of Balloon Fiesta from its start to its founder. 4 ballooning enthusiasts are behind the book, and it took them 3 years to compile everything inside.
How does that work? We fly way up there on nothing but air?
They also launched the first children's book on Fiesta in honor of its 50th year. It's on sale now at the Balloon Fiesta and Balloon Museum gift shops, Amazon, and also Rio Grande Books.
Something else for the kids, a coloring book celebrating the 50th year of Balloon Fiesta. The illustrator says this was an opportunity she could not miss out on.
Since it's an international festival, I really wanted to highlight and celebrate
kind of ballooning all over the world.
She even included Albuquerque and New Mexican culture in the book. Heindel hopes the book inspires more people to visit the fiesta this year and for years to come.
Take a look at the official poster celebrating the 50th Balloon Fiesta. It shows all the Looney Tunes characters. Last few posters have been telling a story with Wile E. Coyote and the Roadrunner getting into shenanigans with the hot air balloons.
I want when people do look at the posters, they get a sense of the amount of fun to be had, but also to maybe draw them back to childhood memories of these characters. Now when I look at the characters, no matter where I see them in old cartoons, I always think of the Balloon Fiesta.
Now let's take a trip down memory lane to uncover the connection between Fiesta and those Looney Tune characters. You might even see another familiar face.
Why is it that we can't find the Roadrunner balloon right now?
Well, what he does is he goes up and down and plays the different winds to try to elude the coyotes behind him.
That's our very own Joe Diaz taking part in the Roadrunner Coyote balloon race in 1981. So one balloon is the Roadrunner, all of the others are the Coyotes. Now, the Roadrunner gets a head start and the Coyotes start the chase. Whichever Coyote lands closest to the Roadrunner wins the challenge. It's all inspired by Wile E. Coyote and the Roadrunner.
Balloon Fiesta is a fun and beautiful event, but it's also a competition for some pilots. On the weekdays, there are flying competitions. Pilots pick a launch site at least a mile from the park, then fly to the field. Once there, they attempt to drop a marker on a target. At the end of the week, the pilot with the most points is declared the Balloon Fiesta champion and is given prizes.
Finding places to land in our city can be a challenge, but you can help.
The X Marks the Spot program was created to welcome pilots to a safe landing spot.
All you have to do is create an X using a tarp or a bedding sheet and place it in a big open space.
The ideal landing spot for a hot air balloon is about 200 feet by 200 feet, but with light wind, pilots can sometimes land in smaller spaces.
And landing in the city has been a challenge for decades.
By 1980, continued development in Albuquerque encroached on Sims Field, making it difficult for some pilots to come down safely.
Stephanie Muniz shows us where the event moved in 1981.
As more and more balloonists made their way to Albuquerque every October, a new location was needed again. This area was just one of the areas where the Balloon Fiesta Park was. The new home to the Balloon Fiesta was called the Cutter International Balloon Port in between Paseo del Norte and Osuna. The park was dedicated by Sid Cutter, the father of the fiesta, smashing a champagne bottle on an excavator as he flew into the sky. Our very own Joe Diaz reported on the location change. This park had enough space for 1,000 balloons to launch, but that never happened. Although the fiesta only stayed here 4 years, the former site is now Vista del Norte Park, a popular landing spot among balloonists. Back to you.
Cutter Field was also where gas balloons first appeared at Fiesta. Those are a bit different than those hot air balloons we're used to seeing. Gas balloons have been around since the late 1700s, powered by lighter than air gases, the most popular being hydrogen. These aircraft can float for several days. Now they do lose some of that gas with heating and cooling cycles of the day. So to stay afloat, pilots will drop weight from the balloon in the form of water or sandbags. The flights usually take about 3 days and the two pilots sleep in shifts.
Gas balloons launched at Fiesta in 1981, but because they are expensive to operate, they were dropped in 1988. It was a different side of Fiesta and supporters lobbied to bring them back, so it became a regular part of Fiesta since 1993.
That event was the Gordon Bennett Gas Balloon Race. It has been the premier world ballooning event since 1906, first launching from Paris. In 1993, competitors launched from Albuquerque. The rule's simple. Whoever travels the furthest wins the race.
Right now, the record is held by a team from Belgium, traveling 2,112.9 miles from Balloon Fiesta Park in 2005. Now, they made it all the way to Quebec, Canada. Each year, the race moves around the world, this year taking off from Switzerland. Our city has had the honor of being the starting point 4 times.
Balloon Fiesta created its own gas event in 1995. This year, the America's Challenge Gas Balloon Race is celebrating its 25th anniversary. 8 teams representing 5 countries will launch the first weekend of Fiesta.
The current distance record for this race is 2,275.87 miles, held by a team from Switzerland. Before that, it was held by Richard Abruzzo and former Governor Gary Johnson. Balloons have tracking beacons to show their position so spectators can watch online. Fiesta fans love seeing balloons fill the sky, but we're asking, how exactly do they work?
Some pilots travel thousands upon thousands of miles to get to Balloon Fiesta. My conversation with a pilot coming all the way from Belgium.
And so many eyes on the Balloon Fiesta flagpole, how it shows attendees what kind of show they'll experience.
And we are celebrating 50 years through your photos.
This year, 672 pilots are making their way here to take off into our sky. 81 of them are coming from other countries.
And I spoke to one of them about what it means to be a part of such a big international event. It's a buzz of excitement that stretches around the world, and Balloon Fiesta pilots are the fuel behind that excitement. Peter van Overwal lives in Belgium. He started ballooning in 1997, shortly after he took his first balloon ride, and he was hooked. He started coming to Albuquerque 2 years later in 1999 and has only missed Balloon Fiesta twice since then during COVID.
Every single year.
And besides our ballooning conditions, Peter says it's his Albuquerque-based crew that keeps him coming back. A strong bond tethers the group. He even stays with a crew member during Fiesta.
That's for years now, and I love it. And they love it too. It's kind of the gathering place where all the crew comes together in the morning, and then we head out to Fiesta.
And you'll likely recognize Peter's balloon.
The pink elephant, it's with a tiara on. It's called Princess Nellie.
A fan favorite special shape, her quirky expression with her tongue hanging out. Peter soaks up every second of the very early mornings on the field.
Albuquerque is a place where you see so many people that you might see only once a year, but Albuquerque is a place, and that always feels like, hey, it wasn't a year ago. You just saw each other yesterday, you know.
This year, Princess Nellie is one of 120 special shapes, and we'll all enjoy gazing up for hours, watching them fill the sky. And while Peter enjoys visiting places all over the world to fly Nellie, there can only be one favorite.
Size-wise and crew-wise, Albuquerque, of course.
One favorite challenge for many of the out-of-town pilots, the splash and dash. They slowly dip their basket into the Rio Grande before firing their burners up to get back in the sky. It is a spectacular sight. In years past, we have seen kayakers hoping to grab the perfect shot. Not only is it a challenge, but weather conditions have to be just right to get the balloons lined up along the river.
And weather plays a major factor in deciding if we will see balloons fly at all.
Chief Meteorologist Joe Diaz explains the conditions needed to get balloons airborne.
Hundreds of balloonists and hundreds of thousands eager spectators converge on this grassy 8-acre field to be part of the largest ballooning event in the world. And each morning the question is still the same: will the balloons take off or not? Basically, clear skies and light winds will do the trick. And not only do the winds have to be light at the surface, but so do the winds just above the surface, because balloons fly with the wind. So when it comes to landing a balloon, strong winds can lead to some very rough landings, and no one wants that. So what keeps you from seeing these massive aircraft take flight? Most are pretty obvious: showers and thunderstorms, sleet and snow. Yes, it has actually snowed in past balloon fiestas. Low visibility due to overcast skies or fog, and heavy rain can produce widespread ponding on the launch site, which has been known to keep balloonists and their vehicles off the field. But the biggest weather element creating the most problem is wind. It has to be lower than 11.5 miles an hour.
Special shapes are typically more in the 5 to 7 knot range, I would say. So you're looking 5 to 7, 8 miles an hour tops for any of the special shapes to go.
We're trying to make the best safe decision for the pilots.
The Fiesta has a team of expert meteorologists taking wind readings and studying atmospheric conditions across the area. That information is given to the balloon officials to help determine if an event is a go or no-go.
We've got skydivers, we've got fireworks, we've got bands performing. There's so many different things. And so given that that's the case, we will make adjustments to any of those if the weather conditions change our operation.
The Albuquerque International Balloon Fiesta is now in its 50th year, and with it a long history of successful flying events and balloon glows, which among other things have made it the most photographed event in the world.
The visual signal for balloonists and spectators to know if the conditions are good enough to fly is a flagpole. It's a color-coded system where green gives pilots the green light and the balloons can fly. Yellow means stand by, and the red flag means conditions are just not safe.
There's a group of people who are key in making sure balloons launch each morning during Balloon Fiesta. We're talking about the zebras. The reason for the name, they wear black, white striped shirts.
You want to walk this way?
Pilots can't see what's above them, so the zebras make sure it's clear for them to launch into the sky, giving them the go to launch.
There's a lot that goes into getting hot air balloons ready for flight.
Anchor Sasha Leninger spent some time with the crew to show us how they're assembled and how these aircraft work.
Piloting a hot air balloon is a team sport. It usually requires a crew who loves those early morning hours and some good flying conditions. So Mother Nature must work in your favor. And the whole process of setting up a hot air balloon takes a bit.
It starts with the basket, also known as the gondola.
That involves putting the uprights on the burner, put the burner up, and then we put the suspension cables and attach them with carabiners.
After making sure those are tight, they attach propane lines and check for leaks before attaching the burners.
As the weather gets colder, we have to make sure we have enough pressure to give us enough heat to lift the balloon. Once that's done, we tip the basket over and then we attach it to the envelope.
That's the colorful material. They check the connections for safety, then stretch the envelope and inflate it with a fan.
It just blows cold air into the envelope. And once the envelope is nice and packed, then that's when we will get in the basket and apply the burner to heat up the air.
Pushing the balloon upright. Now it's time to take flight. Hot air causes the aircraft to rise, and once off the ground, you're at the mercy of the winds, blowing different directions and speeds depending on the altitude. Pilots climb or descend to go in the direction they want.
Now, to make the balloon rise, the pilot uses these burners to add heat into the envelope. To make it descend, they let the air cool or they pull the valve at the top. Back to you.
While most people will be looking up at the balloons as they take over the sky, there's a group of people on the ground chasing after them. Each balloon has a team trying to pinpoint where it will land. The pilot talks to them on the radio to keep them in the loop. Then, when the flight is done, they help safely bring the balloon back to the ground.
2021 was the first year remote-controlled balloons were featured at the Fiesta. So the balloons are about 8 times smaller than traditional hot air balloons. They're launched into the air using similar propane burners and are controlled remotely. Being a remote-controlled balloon enthusiast is not a cheap hobby. The balloons can cost up to $5,000. Still much cheaper than a new hot air balloon, though, which starts around $40,000.
Balloonists are hoping to set 2 world records this year. One is for the most balloons glowing at night. The other is for the most remote-controlled balloons in the sky at once. We did some research and found out the largest glow happened in Saudi Arabia earlier this year in March with 142 balloons.
The Balloon Fiesta is no stranger to setting world records. The 2019 Mass Ascension had 524 hot air balloons and is called the, quote, greatest mass hot air balloon ascent, according to the Book of Guinness World Records. Event organizers say they set previous records in 2010 and 2011.
Today, seeing a field full of flickering balloons may seem normal.
Yeah, but balloon glows did not exist until 1987.
That's right. Scott Appleman came up with the idea after seeing a similar event in Colorado. He suggested it to Fiesta, but they thought people would only want to watch the balloons fly. Eventually, he convinced them to give it a shot.
I still get chills thinking about that evening watching the first all burn. People were totally enthused.
The weather was perfect, and organizers realized not only was it a beautiful sight, but a great opportunity for camaraderie between, the spectators and the pilots.
Appleman also created the unofficial kickoff to Balloon Fiesta. Albuquerque Aloft started in 2005. Pilots launched their balloons from school grounds in Albuquerque and in Rio Rancho. Parents, students, and teachers get the chance to meet the pilots and crew and learn how a balloon flies.
The Fiesta's impact reaches beyond Balloon Fiesta Park. Head over to Old Town for Balloon Fiesta Week. So each day from noon until 4, beginning the Friday before Balloon Fiesta, you can find live music, culturally influenced performances, and of course, local shopping.
And some shop owners say the Duke City gets packed this time of year, and they welcome the visitors.
I underestimated it. We've been having a constant line out the door. We knew it was going to be busy, and like I said, I underestimated it a little bit.
It's a big boost for business. Some shops see sales triple.
Shelly, this is for you. Foodies, stay with us. We're showing you some of the Balloon Fiesta staples with ties to the beginning.
So much good stuff. More than balloons, there's also love in the air, how some couples celebrate at the Fiesta.
And a young pilot preparing to launch at this year's Fiesta. We're going to introduce you to her and see how she's getting ready.
And we are celebrating 50 years through your photos. We're celebrating 50 years of color filling the skies above the Duke City.
Watching those balloons is just a magical experience.
Stella Sun shows us how the event became even more spectacular when those special shapes joined the event.
From adorable animals,
Smokey the Bear,
to iconic movie characters,
we've got Yoda,
and even symbols celebrating our culture.
People's imaginations are really the only thing that can limit them in creating a special shaped balloon.
Before this event became a massive rodeo, it started with just one special shape.
It started back in 1989. And at that time, Chickaboom, which was our very first special shape that attended Balloon Fiesta.
Ever since that first special shape,
it's actually grown more and more each year.
For the golden anniversary of Balloon Fiesta, there will be a new lineup of shapes to admire. Shapes like a Tasmanian devil, a flying saucer, and even a toy car, bringing us to a grand total of 120 special shaped balloons, the most ever. Some favorites will of course be back.
We're very excited about our friend from Canada, Arabelle, and the kids just love that special shaped cow.
Many of these unique balloons will launch at a morning mass ascension, but all of them will be on display at the Special Shapes Glodio.
The balloons will actually inflate at night and they glow under the stars. So they're not flying at night, but you can come out and enjoy and walk around and see all your favorite shapes.
Fun shapes bring out the child in all of us.
Memories that will last a lifetime are created at Balloon Fiesta Park.
The bright shapes and colors creating a beautiful backdrop for a proposal. In 2017, Richard Anderson proposed to his girlfriend, Adriana Lopez. She'd been to Balloon Fiesta before, but Richard had never been. So what better place to propose?
I just kept thinking, like, is this real? What do I do? And I don't remember thinking anything more than that. And then he pulled out the ring from his jacket. And I was like shaky.
Richard got a little help from his mother-in-law planning the proposal. After she said yes, they hopped in a balloon and took a romantic ride.
One Albuquerque couple decided to get married on the Smokey Bear balloon during Fiesta. Unfortunately, the weather kept it from launching. Instead, they got married on the fire engine that carries the balloon. 8 years later, they were finally able to take that ride.
Piloting a balloon can be complicated, but one young woman met the challenge, and at just 18, she is one of the youngest pilots at this year's Fiesta.
She spoke with anchor Sasha Leninger about her love for the sport.
My dad's a commercial hot air balloon pilot, and so I kind of just followed along.
Autumn Gonzalez has a passion for hot air balloons, especially the serenity that comes with the sport.
When you're up there in the air, everything's so small and still. It's kind of like life pauses for a minute.
At just 18 years old, Gonzalez is one of the youngest pilots at this year's Fiesta, making history alongside the person who taught her everything she knows about ballooning, her dad.
It's an honor. I mean, it's pretty cool just having that history in your family.
She's flying the Journey.
It's a black balloon with a bunch of planets and stars.
She says there's no other balloon like it, so it'll be easy to spot.
There she is. Just to have fun. I mean, I got into this passion because it gave me an escape from reality. It paused life for a minute.
Gonzalez hopes her story teaches kids, especially girls, to strive for what they love.
Do it. I mean, if it's your passion, follow it.
To inspire the next generation of young pilots.
Gonzalez is one of two 18-year-old pilots at this year's event.
A lot of sights to see at Fiesta, and it's not limited to balloons. Look up and you might see the team Fast Track skydivers. Take a closer look at video of them free falling through the sky from 7,000 feet above at speeds up to 120 miles per hour.
Sometimes the divers have fireworks or a giant American flag strapped to their ankles. It takes 8 hours to plan one performance, and they tell us trust is key, especially during night performances.
When you're doing what we do at night, you literally have to trust the person next to you with your life. It's 100% success mission. We don't take risks, we don't take chances. It's on time, on target every time.
Even though they say don't take risks, they tell us the rush that comes along with it is worth the reward, especially once they land back on the ground.
We all have a passion for the sport and putting on great performances, but for interacting with the people on the ground after a great performance, that's what drives me personally. For me, it's when I land on the ground and then a kid said, "That was so cool," There's no greater experience than that.
The most difficult challenge is the night dives, when their only source of light is the fireworks coming out of their boots.
Natural artwork on display at Balloon Fiesta.
And it's done with chainsaws. They transform the wood into intricate, detailed sculptures. They even torch the wood to add some of the darker coloring. And popular pieces are displayed and auctioned each day.
We look out into the crowd and you see somebody waving, and you take a couple seconds to look and you go, "Oh my gosh, we saw them last year, they bought a cool piece." And you make long-lasting friendships.
The woodcarvers travel to Fiesta from all over the United States.
If you see a carving you like, a lot of the pieces are for sale, and there's an auction.
Another main attraction, the food.
Yes, it is. Angel Salcido shows us one regular Fiesta meal that's rumored to have started there not long after Fiesta began.
For nearly 50 years, the heart of Balloon Fiesta can be found in the food.
Huevos, huevos, huevos.
More specifically, in a tortilla.
Oh man, this is great. This is great. That's why we keep them so high.
For decades, the breakfast burrito has woven itself into Fiesta DNA.
How many do you want? 2? 4.
And now, 50 years later, it's still a staple.
You kind of got to have a breakfast burrito. They're sort of synonymous with Balloon Fiesta.
Erica Hahn is the concessions manager for Balloon Fiesta.
It's nice to have a good warm burrito. You got to go with Christmas while you're out here too.
Hahn says there will be plenty of burritos and much more for the 50th anniversary of the Fiesta.
We have roughly 40 food and 40 merchandise concessionaires.
But they're not just from here in New Mexico.
We do have 17 states outside of New Mexico represented in our concessions and artisans this year.
Hahn says there will be something for every taste, craving, and sweet tooth.
Donuts, ice cream, slushies, the typical turkey legs, cheeseburgers, green chili cheeseburgers.
And of course, that classic breakfast burrito.
So Todd, our own Joe Diaz actually did stories with the people who created the original breakfast burrito.
That's right. He once told me that these were developed because they're basically the perfect meal for the pilots. They're grab and go before they take to the skies.
Yeah, makes perfect sense. And they also make great hand warmers on those really cold mornings.
Yes, they do. So another fun Balloon Fiesta experience, glamping. It's a sure way to beat the Fiesta traffic, right? You sleep in a tent near the park. You also get access to a restroom, shower, and a hospitality area with grills, games, and lounge chairs.
Yeah, you'll also receive a welcome gift, a heater, and a fridge. The cost for 2 people to stay in these tents for 3 nights is $1,500.
A new exhibit promising to give people that Fiesta feeling year-round.
And we're taking you to the current site of the Balloon Fiesta, some things you may be surprised to learn about.
And we are enjoying your memories as we celebrate 50 years of Fiesta.
Today, many of you are used to coming out on a cold October morning and seeing this enormous grassy field filled with balloons.
Yeah, did you know that if you took 54 football fields, you could fit them into this space right here? This is the biggest and longest running site of Fiesta, 26 years now.
But before being held here, the annual spectacle was across the street. That's where we find Stephanie Muniz.
Hey guys, right now I'm in the South RV parking lot for Balloon Fiesta Park, but it was once known as Balloon Fiesta Park. It was the first time Cityland was used for the event. The Fiesta was here from 1986 to 1995. During this time, they gave Fiesta goers a new nighttime experience. And a few years later, they added the special shaped rodeo. Because this was originally a landfill, the area couldn't be permanently developed and there wasn't much room for growth. The entire park was 77 acres, about the same size as the grassy area at the current park. In 1996, the event moved to its current home right across the street.
So this current site is fully grassed. It's more comfortable for the pilots and the guests.
And at its peak, the field has had more than 1,000 balloons.
A new exhibit coming to the International Balloon Museum.
It's giving people the chance to experience what Balloon Fiesta feels like year-round.
Here's anchor Darlene Melendez giving you a first look at the Canopy of Color exhibit that will give visitors the sights and sounds of Fiesta long after October.
Those Balloon Fiesta feels now have a permanent home at the Albuquerque International Balloon Museum. The museum's director saying an exhibit of this magnitude was certainly a missing piece.
This was one of the stories that we were dying to tell here at the Balloon Museum, and now it has a permanent footprint within our museum, but that doesn't mean that everything here is going to stay as is.
It's been around-the-clock work for the last 3 years, gathering artifacts and hundreds of hours of interviews, all to bring the Balloon Fiesta's history to life.
I'm proud of what we've put together in this inaugural exhibit because it is multi-layered, there's multiple meanings.
And an interactive twist, allowing visitors to step inside a reimagined basket, fire the burner, prepare for liftoff, and also head to a geodome where you can experience what it's like to splash and dash on the Rio Grande. It's hands-on too, with the chance to feel the fabric of a real hot air balloon.
And we hope people also just feel the joy and the beauty in the exhibit as well.
It's that same beauty and joy that's at the core of what keeps people coming back to Balloon Fiesta October after October.
Balloon Fiesta is also a very important part of Albuquerque culture. It's important for all of us here. People come from all over the world.
And now they can experience it all year long.
Thank you for joining us for this celebration of New Mexico's most magical event.
From just 13 balloons to hundreds now painting our skies.
Creating memories for people decade after decade.
This year, the tradition will glow brighter than it ever has.
And will continue to wow the world for another 50 years and beyond.